There we go.
Hey y'all, welcome back to Chat with Coach Amy. Today, we finally have Casey, queen of the quinoa cherry bowl. There are so many women that make that. Casey, I don't even think you know. They're like, I made that. What's her name? I'm like, Casey, it's Casey's quinoa cherry bowl.
And it was, I don't even know how I came up with that. I think I just found these delicious frozen cherries from Costco that are already pitted, and they were reasonable price. So I thought, what a perfect tea. And I needed to get the quinoa in because you were raving about it.
Yeah.
The most anti-inflammatory food.
Amen. It is. And do you know what I completely forget to talk about during my reducing inflammation Zoom class? Quinoa. I need to talk about it. And I need to redo.
Who would think that would be an anti-inflammatory food? It is. It is. And it's delicious. Makes me feel good.
It does. Well, we just jumped right into it. That's okay.
We sure did.
Can you please introduce yourself?
Yes. So I'm Casey. I'm a mom of 2, and I live in North Dakota. I grew up in Wisconsin, northern Wisconsin, and moved to North Dakota after graduating nursing school. And I said I would only be there for a year, and then I met my husband, and he's from there. So we've been there ever since, except for a short stint. We moved to Florida for a year and back.
Wow. How random.
Yep. Random, very random.
I love it.
But happy to be, I think we're probably more North Dakota people than Florida people. I love Florida, but we went through a hurricane there, Hurricane Michael, and we're happy to be in the Midwest after surviving the hurricane.
And where are you at this very moment?
At this very moment, we're vacationing in Florida, actually, in Destin.
I love it.
I guess you really can't take too much Florida out of me. I still love to come here.
Absolutely. Okay, so we're going to have to coordinate our vacations next year so we can come at the same time. Okay, you understand?
I think that's a great idea.
Oh my gosh, I think we'd cry our eyeballs out for 3 hours.
I think we would.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so Casey, how long have you been a one-on-one client?
I have been a one-on-one since May of 2022. Yeah. May 1st or whatever whenever we started that.
You're right. Mm-hmm. It feels like I've known you so much longer. Some clients I get that with, and that's just anybody. You just really mesh, and I love all my people, but there's some absolutely. I just kind of, I don't know. You're just more attached to, I guess. Yep. That's okay. I don't want to hurt nobody's feelings. But it's just the way it is. Just the way it is. So, can you tell us a little bit about your story?
Yes. Like my THM story or my what story? I have lots of stories.
You do. Okay, well, how old are you?
I am 36.
Okay. How long have you and your man been married?
We have been married 10 years this year.
Okay, and you're a nurse.
I'm a nurse, yep.
And you live in North Dakota?
North Dakota, yes. Yes. A lot of people have asked me, about my accent lately too.
Oh, but they have.
Yeah, especially down here. Where are you from?
Yeah. So I love it. It kind of made me tear up when you said you had 2 children. Why don't you tell us that part of your story?
Yes. So I have our firstborn is our son William, and he would be 6 years old. He died at birth. To back it up, it struggled so much to get pregnant, and we finally got pregnant. And actually, I don't know if I told you this portion, but we were pregnant with twins initially.
Wow.
And I ended up miscarrying one of the twins at 10 weeks. And so I just, that in itself is hard to go through. Sure. But I was holding on to that. Had another baby to still continue on the pregnancy with. And so when I was probably 37 and a half weeks pregnant, I just felt like something wasn't right. And I worked at the hospital that I would give birth at. And so I just said, I had to work that morning. I said, I'm going in early for work. I'm just going to go up to labor and delivery and get checked out. And just, you just have that I had a sixth sense that something just needed to be checked out. So I went up to labor and delivery. They got me on the monitor. The heartbeat looked fine. Everything looked fine. And, me being who I am, I was like, okay, well, if everything looks fine, I got to go because I'm going to be late for work. Like, I can't be late. And, so then all of a sudden they said, no, we have to keep you for 30 minutes. That's policy. So I was laying there for 30 minutes. And all of a sudden the nurses were just acting a little different, a little more fluttering going around me. And they said, we're going to do a quick ultrasound. And I said, okay. And they brought the ultrasound machine in and they said, okay, you're going in for an emergency C-section now. Baby's heartbeat is it was at like 20 or 30 beats a minute, I think at that point. And so I was alone. My husband went to work. We didn't think really anything, I just wanted to get checked out. I didn't think anything was this urgent.
Right.
And, so I just said, call my husband and call my work to make sure they know I'm not going to be there. And this is so surreal as you're going back in for an emergency C-section. Time is like standing still, but at the same time, so many things are going on around you. Well, long story short, my uterus ended up rupturing, which is extremely rare for first-time moms. And I've never had a surgery on my uterus before. So that's another rare thing. They said that only happens in like 0.001% of the population or something.
Yeah.
And William, our son, ended up not making it, which, that's just kind of spins your life out of control right there. Yeah. Especially, it's never easy to lose anybody, but then to lose your child on top of it, it just gets you for a long time. And
did they remove your uterus?
They didn't. No. They ended up, the doctor said she did some double stitch on it, and she said it's just in case we were able to go on to have more children. She said maybe they would let you try again if so. And we went after that because there was no reason for my uterus to rupture. We went on to get some extra second opinions at we went to like the Mayo Clinic, which is a bigger organization up kind of around us. Yeah. And had a bunch of genetic testing done just to find a root cause of it. And there is no root cause for me anyways, that they could find. And so every doctor we've talked to, they just said, for our situation, since they couldn't find a root cause, since my rupture was in the thickest part of my uterus, they just recommended that it would be very, it could be life-threatening if I were to carry a baby again. Because if I wasn't at the hospital, laying on the hospital bed, they said, who knows what could have happened? Right. Based on like blood, like they drew blood from Will's cord to see like his blood gases, and based on that they said it was like within minutes that my uterus had ruptured. And so after talking to my husband, we just didn't want to, you go back and forth because you have a mama heart, you want to carry your child, and please, you want to try, but then my husband, he's on the other hand, looking at it saying, listen, well, I could lose you and another child if we carry again. So, so that brings in our miracle. One of my really good friends sat me down one day and she said, I know. I know. She sat me down one day and said, I have just really been feeling called to ask you if this would be something you'd be interested in. I really want to be your surrogate. I want to carry a child for you and your husband. And honestly, when she sat me down and asked me this, it was, I mean, this is after maybe 4 or 5 months have passed since Will had died. And then, we went through all the testing and medical stuff, and you're just knee deep in grief and you can't see clearly. And she sat me down, and when she asked me that, I was half hopeful and then half still trying to process that I couldn't carry my own child.
Sure.
And I just brought it home to my husband, and we sat on it a long time and prayed on it. And there were a lot of different things that we went through and thought about were, this unconventional way of bringing a child into the world, and how that would look in our family. And we decided to go for it. And now Emerson is our 4-year-old.
and she's so sweet.
So sweet. She is the light of our lives. Yeah. And she has enough energy for all of us. When people say to me, oh, you just have one, it's so, that must be a breeze.
No, it's 7. It's 7 kids.
I think yes, she is one child, but she is 7 children wrapped into one with her energy. Which I think that was a little wink from God saying, okay, you have one, but we're going to give you an energetic one, keep you on your toes a little bit.
Oh, I love it.
Yes. So that is my long story on how many children I have, but we sure try to honor Will in every way. I mean, we sometimes, when people ask how many children, I typically say 2. Sometimes if I'm not in the mood, I say 1. Sometimes I go into the whole story. It's just,
sure.
I think that's a way when you lose a child, you kind of just have to do what feels right to you in the moment.
That's right. I agree. I think that's great.
Mm-hmm.
I'll tell you, it took me days processing your story after you told me, because it was just like a random, well, let me tell you this part,
I know.
And I was like, oh my, it's like a Lifetime movie kind of,
It is.
And I was telling Wes about it the other day. I couldn't remember if it was your sister or your friend. It was your friend, but
yes.
Mercy. That's just incredible. So does she have, if you don't mind me asking, does she have a relationship with Emerson? Are y'all still really close?
Yeah, we're close, and we don't see her as much as I wish we could, just with life and being so busy, and then COVID got thrown in there, and but she is the sweetest person. Every year, she still sends Emerson an ornament for the Christmas tree, and every birthday, and we still get to see her, which is really awesome. She's
sweet.
Just
so how old is Emerson?
Emerson is 4. She'll be 5 in November.
Oh, okay.
And she was born on November 25th, and Will was born on February 25th. So the 20, I feel like you get signs, I think, from people, and 25th is just a day, and that always reminds us of Will. So it was his sweet little wink.
That was sweet.
Within Emerson's story.
Yeah, so, I have a 25th baby. My middle daughter, Lily, she was born on the 25th. Yeah.
That's a good day.
And that's our dating anniversary, April 25th.
It is.
It is. I love that. That's precious.
Yes. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. That's very special. And I know that's going to touch a lot of ladies. I will put a little disclaimer just in
Yes.
case.
Yes.
I don't want anyone to get upset because I know that can not be a good thing for some if they're
Right.
not ready for it. Yeah.
Absolutely. A little trigger warning.
Absolutely. So let's go into Trim Healthy Mama and how that tied in to what you experienced with all of that.
Yes. So when I was so sick when I was pregnant. I don't think I ate a single Trim Healthy. I kept wanting to be on plan, and then I would look at everything and just throw up. No. So I started Trim Healthy Mama in dabbling in it, I think in 2014.
Okay.
I heard a coworker talking about it, and I just remember her saying, she's like, the weight's just falling off of me. And I was like, I just need to know what goodness is she on?
For real.
You know, and I feel like growing up, I've tried everything from Weight Watchers. I mean, every single diet that you could have tried, I feel like I've tried it, and it's just getting old. And I remember after doing Weight Watchers for a while and feeling like I was starving, I just vowed to myself, I was like, I am never, because I can't remember how much you had to pay for that, but I was like, I'm not going to pay for any Weight Watchers subscription or any, you know what I mean? Like that kind of thing ever again. Like, granted, I mean, coaching, but that's different, I think. But then I heard about this THM, Trim Healthy Mama, and I don't know that it was coined THM at the time, but and so I bought the big book and I read through it, and I was like, and it made sense. It just like clicked. I'm like, okay, I think I can do this. So I started dabbling in it, and then when I did get pregnant, then all bets were off. I just went off of it. And I think after being pregnant and then going through the grief cycle, and then I started back on it when Katie, our surrogate, was pregnant with Emerson. And I think that was kind of a way I was to control something in my life.
Sure.
So much stuff felt out of control.
Yeah.
And so that was something I could control, was what I was putting in my body. And so, yep, exactly. And so I got back on it, and I remember feeling really great. And then I'm just the type of, if I can't do something perfect, and I know we've talked about this before.
Yes, we have.
Which I'm getting better at.
You are.
But I think I fell off somewhere along the track after Emerson was born, and then we moved to Florida, and life just got crazy, and I just fell off track after that. And I would get back on randomly, like random months. I would try stuff, and I'd do good for a month, and then I'd eat off plan, and then I'd think, oh well, I just ate off plan. I might as well eat off plan for the next meal too. And then it just became this cycle until it wasn't easy to lose weight anymore. You know, like if you get on plan for a month, I feel like I could drop 5 pounds or whatever, and I'd feel good. And then I'd coast a little bit, and then
so one mistake. Yeah, one mistake would lead to another bad mistake, and lead, and it's just an avalanche of.
It's just insanity. An avalanche. Yes, yes. And then that brought me to, well, when I started coaching with you, I think this whole past winter, January 2022, I started doing this exercising, and I would exercise for like an hour a day, and nothing was happening. I wasn't eating THM.
Really?
I was eating everything else, but I thought I was being healthy because I was exercising for an hour, and I just was swollen, and the weight was still coming on, and I couldn't figure it out. And so finally I saw you on the forums on Facebook, and I thought, I'm going to look up her one-on-one coaching. And I remember signing up for your one-on-one coaching, and I think there was a wait list, and I thought,
Yep.
okay, well, that's okay. I think, but at the time I signed up, it said, don't expect to get a one-on-one spot till September. I'm like, okay, well, I can wait that long. I got the whole summer. So
Surprise.
surprise. Then you popped in my life in May, and I don't know that I've committed to THM this long, doing this well, for probably my whole life.
Yeah. And you're just getting it, girl. Just
getting it. I'm trying
so
to break through the perfectionistic way of my life, where if I go off plan, that's okay. It's okay. It happens, and I'll just
get back on.
Jump back on. Yes.
Fueling. Yeah.
Next fuel.
Yeah.
And I think the tracking helps me a lot. Like I use the 8 app that you utilize.
Yeah.
Just seeing what I'm taking a picture of helps me pause and think about it a little bit.
That's awesome. I love it. What do you think? So I know the tracking is really important to you. What else have you found that you changed maybe dramatically that has helped the most?
I think, for sure, I have added in the healthy carbs in my lifestyle and decreasing the exercise.
That was hilarious, y'all. I wish I had video of that. I think it was our first Zoom call or one-on-one session or whatever. She was like, I'm doing this, and I had this and this and this. And I went, stop exercising every day. You're hurting yourself. And you were like, what? Didn't you go run? What's your husband's name? I forget his name.
Billy. Bill.
Yeah. But I think you went and told him, tell the story. You'll do it better than me.
But I don't have to exercise every day. I don't have to exercise for an hour. It's like, she said I could only do 2 to 3 days a week. I was so excited. It was
so sweet. And it's worked.
It's worked
You were overtaxing your adrenals.
Oh, my hormones were so out of whack, and my adrenals were so sluggish. I think it's helped immensely to decrease the exercise and increase the healthy carbs in my life. I mean, I don't know that I had that many carbs. Probably in months, probably in years. Healthy
and
carbs.
Your body is loving it.
Loving it. Oh my goodness. It feels so great. Carbs and veggies. I think really adding in the fresh veggies and trying to do that with most every meal has been a game changer for me. Yeah. Another thing that my body, I think, feels great on is having that. I usually try to do an E meal in the morning, an S meal, like for lunch-ish, and then an SP, and then an S or an E at dinner is kind of what I try to do. I think in the beginning when I was working with you, I was doing, because I wake up so early, ended up being at 5 meals a day. And it was just because of my timing. I tried to do right on the 3-hour mark, but kind of spreading it out to maybe the 3.5-hour mark to 4-ish maybe. And then getting in 4 good meals a day has really helped me. One of them being
that's pretty much what I do. And I actually told a client yesterday, I was like, look, I think she was really trying to mimic what I do, which is great. And you do, we are a lot alike.
Yep.
Apparently, because what you're doing a lot what I do. And I do have a lot of clients that do that and see a lot of success, but then there are some, they are not like me. Number one, they hate fresh vegetables. They're going to need those things hidden or cooked. And I told her, I said, look, I'm not trying to make a bunch of little Amy. She goes, I'd love to be a little Amy. That's so funny. But she did understand what I was saying, that she didn't have to do it exactly like I do, but I'm glad it works for
Yes.
you. I am glad
Yeah.
it works for you for sure.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
wonderful. So, talk to us about your progress, scale and non-scale, if you don't mind.
Sure. Well, scale, I haven't weighed this week because we're on vacation. So I didn't pack my scale with me because my husband would have
Please, no, not
rolled
in
his eyes.
I would have to.
Figured that was a no-no.
Yes.
So scale, so far to date, I've lost 19.8 pounds. I'm so close to the 20 mark.
I know.
Taste it. But I swear my scale has a vendetta against me because at every big loss, like when I was getting out of the 160s, it just sat at 160 for a while.
He was like, Amy, I was like, I'm sorry, just keep going, And it worked. It worked.
And then to the 150s, it just was hanging there. Now I'm just about to 220 pounds lost, but I'm at 19.8 pounds lost, and my inches, can't even count my inches. I don't have an actual total of my inches that I can recall, but around my midsection, I have noticed I've lost a lot. I think that's like 6 or 7 inches around my stomach alone, which has been incredible just for how I feel. And I mean, how much damage that.
Yeah. And you reducing your inches around your waist, midsection area, when you do that, it increases your lifespan so much. Like, it's amazing, and it reduces your risk for all the things. And so I'm just so excited for your future because you've just really empowered yourself to live that abundant life that the Lord wants us to lead. Because you're fueling your body the way He wanted you to. It just all makes sense.
Right. It makes so much sense. That's so incredible to think about. Just merely taking some inches off your waist increases your lifespan. I mean, who knew?
Yeah, it's incredible.
Great. And it makes you feel great.
Yeah. It seems like you have a lot more energy than when we first started talking.
Yes, a lot more energy. I don't feel like I have that. I would be so tired. So I'm a nurse. My hours are a little wonky. I usually work, I work part-time. So I worked 10 at the time when we were starting, I was working 10 to 4:30, and I wouldn't eat sometimes my whole shift. I know it's only a part-time shift, but I would just be like, 10 to 4:30, I can just take I don't have to eat. Sure. But really that was not doing my body great. I would come home and I would be starving, and then I'd feel like I was gorging myself on bad choices. And then you get that slump in the afternoon where you just feel icky. But I feel like with the eating every 3 to 4 hours, you really sustain your energy level, and then you feel like you're able to do things throughout the day. I have so much more energy than I did when I wouldn't eat during the day and then just eat a bunch of garbage.
Food. I love that. So talk about clothing size. What size clothes were you in when we began?
So when we began, I was a tight 12 pants. Probably a tight 12. I probably would have fit in a 14 just great, but I just couldn't do it because
so many people say that.
You get into the number game in your head. And now I have one pair of shorts, they're size 8. I bought them, oh gosh, probably 6 years ago, and they're probably not even in style anymore, but they were one of my picture. I took a picture of them with them on. I could hardly get them over my hips, and I can button them now. They have room in them. I could wear them out in public if I so choose.
I love it.
But they're hot pink, and I don't have a style anymore.
No, girl, you better own those hot pink shorts. I love it.
They'll have the tags on them.
That's hilarious. I love it. That's incredible.
I was definitely a large, extra large shirt, and now I'm I would say I'm a medium.
Medium. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You've done a lot of traveling since we've been doing one-on-one.
Yes.
How has, and I would assume since you've done a lot in just the short time that we've been together, you travel a lot because I know your parents don't live where you live and you've got cousins and vacationing. So how has packing and eating while traveling changed since coaching and getting more on plan?
Oh my goodness. Before, when I would travel, I wouldn't even think about planning for anything. I would just wing it and go. And then you feel awful and you feel swollen when you travel and all the things when you travel. But now, I think since we started coaching, I've had a bachelorette party. I've had a wedding that I was a bridesmaid in. We went to Florida. We went to my parents' house. They live 7 hours away. And so every time I typically pack a little cooler for the car, and I'll pack like a lunch. On the way here to Florida, I packed an e-sandwich for the airport. I make sure to pack like protein. So I have my bag of protein powder. Definitely all the fresh veggies that I can. Anything that's going bad in my fridge, I pack a lot.
Yeah.
Then I usually stop and get some yogurt on the way or whatever protein that I want. Yeah. And then usually add some fresh veggies to it. And I've actually done that for my family too. I'll pack Emerson sandwich and my husband's sandwich. So we were all eating sandwiches in the airport on the way here.
Oh, I love that.
So saves money and it's healthier, right?
Yeah, for sure. And you're going to definitely feel better.
Definitely.
I know that did you do a Walmart or some kind of a order or go to the grocery store when y'all got there for this trip right now?
For this trip right now, yes. We went to the grocery store when we got here and we stocked up on, I really like the Too Good yogurt, the vanilla. So we stocked up on that. I got a little bag of quinoa and then I made that at the condo. Got some frozen berries and
of course
peppers, of course. I didn't get cherries. They didn't have frozen cherries.
So sad. You can't even make your own bowl. Have you done it with mango yet?
I haven't done it with mango, but I bet that's delicious.
It is incredible.
I'll try that when I get home. I have mangoes in my freezer.
Good. Well, I'm gonna have to start getting mango. So I don't know if you watch this because I know you've been on your trip, and that's okay. I went live this morning in the parking lot. I mean, why not? And I showed what I brought for my breakfast because I take the boys to school this morning for Wes, and because he normally does that. And then I went to the grocery store to buy things for my buds and blooms live in the kitchen. And so I packed the mango because they did not send whole fresh mangoes. They sent this plastic container with what I think would have been a delicious mango, but they cut it up way too soon. It's not good. It makes me sad. So anyway, I made the comment that maybe the lady didn't know, or whoever was picking up my groceries, because I have them delivered that time. Maybe they didn't know what a mango looked like, but I will give her the benefit of the doubt here because Walmart did not have any fresh mangoes out in the produce section. I think the time has come that it is over. It was a beautiful, beautiful pyramid of pears in my mango area today. So it's over now. I'm gonna have to start having the frozen and it'll be okay. I'll survive.
Costco had some good frozen mangoes at one time.
Yeah. Well, I don't have a membership and all that, but I do Sam's and Walmart, and so it's all good. And we should be getting it Aldi. I would say, I don't know. They told us in the fall. It's fall. Hello, it's fall. Time for Aldi to open. But I'm excited about that. So it's fun. So talking about your family, how do they feel about the THM things that you make?
Great. I think that I don't even know that my daughter notices some of the time. I mean, most of the
she's so little. You're doing so good by starting this so early.
Yes. So she loves the Bangin Ranch drummies, the chicken.
Yeah.
Oh, she loves it. She calls it Mama's Special Chicken.
Aww.
And for it weekly. So we usually I make that a fair amount, I would say. And my husband has been so supportive, and he basically eats whatever.
Sure.
Whatever I make, or he'll ask me because sometimes he'll make dinner. He'll ask me what I would like for dinner, and sometimes he sometimes he will just make a recipe for, I'll say, let's try the meatloaf. And then like he whipped up the meatloaf in I think it's the first cookbook. And it was great. And so he's been so supportive, and he has seen how much of a difference it's made in my life. And he has no weight to lose at all, but he's happy to eat what I eat, or close to what I eat. I mean, I'll see him sneaking the ice cream at night, and that's fine for him.
Yeah.
But he'll definitely eat dinner and anything that I cook, and be very supportive about it, because he knows. I think he made the comment one time. I think it was when our 2 months were coming up on one of our coaching, when every 2 months it turns over, and he said, are you going to keep going with Amy? And I said, yeah, I am. And he said, good, because I think it's really making an impact.
Oh, so sweet.
So that's so sweet of him to be so supportive. And I think he sees it a lot too, in like my mood and just how I carry myself and everything. So they both been so supportive. Emerson doesn't know the difference, but he does. He sees it.
Yeah.
Would
you say that dealing with grief and things like that, because I know it comes up, I'm sure it comes up time to time. Mm-hmm. Do you feel like you have a better handle on emotionally eating now?
I think I do. I think, yes. I mean, I so much am an emotional eater. I remember, after Will died, and people just brought so much over to our house, and I remember just eating these brownies that somebody brought over, and I think I ate like 5 of them, and I just sat there and ate, because I think that's something that helped comfort me, right? And I am a very emotional person, and I deal with anxiety and all kinds of stuff like that. I think a lot of people do. And so when I get anxious or I'm overly worried about something, I tend to eat without mindless eating. I would say it is just snack and snack and snack, and that's my way to deal with it. But I think I've gotten a lot better at that. And when I am anxious about something or feel the need to mindless eat, I'll try to grab something that I know is on plan. But maybe that's like a little like saltier is what I would choose. So like pistachios or something like, or popcorn, the skinny pop in the microwave bags.
Yes. Very good. Good girl.
Like then I can have some of that and still feel like I'm munching or being naughty or whatever you want to call it. But it's on plan, and I'm not going to leave that emotion feeling icky, right? I'm going to feel good because it's on plan.
Right. Very good. Thank you.
Yeah.
Do you feel like your anxiety has gotten better being on plan?
So much better. I think it's gotten way more manageable. Actually, I am on anxiety medications, and I've dropped my dose in half, and I wanted to wean off, but it just hasn't happened yet. I think I've tried to wean off, but the current medication I'm on is an extended release, and it's kind of harder to wean off of those. Mm-hmm. So that will be coming, I think. I feel ready for that. But that's all been since May that I've been able to drop my dose and think about weaning off, which I think is significant. And I don't have sometimes I would feel like I would get mood swings, and I don't have that severe feeling of you get irritable. I get irritable when I say if I have so much sugar. I think it's the blood sugar change. And the irritability that comes with that, it really impacts me. And my husband can attest that I have definitely not been as irritable eating the THM way. And I think it's all from the sugar, honestly.
Yeah, absolutely.
For me, it's just definitely impacts me. And so I feel much clearer, much more level-headed, and my anxiety has been so much more manageable.
That is absolutely amazing.
Yes.
I love it.
Yes. Feels good. Feels good to feel good.
It does. It feels good to feel good. Amen.
Mhm.
So we will close out, but I wanted to give you time. Is there anything you'd like to share with anybody listening?
I think it's just important. Just keep going. I know it's a struggle. It was a struggle for me at first, especially I don't want to say restarting, but yeah, I restarted in May, and I remember the first couple of weeks I was like, oh, nothing is happening here. My scale's not moving, and it moved a couple of pounds, and that's great.
Yeah.
But I wanted that immediate result, and I think for anybody wanting that immediate result, we have to realize that it takes work. It took us time to get to where we are, gain the weight, and not feel good. And it's going to take us time to get back, take the weight off, and feel good again. And I think we just all have to give ourselves grace and remember that we don't have to be perfect.
Yeah.
Nobody is perfect. Just have to keep going.
I love it. Perfect way to close this out.
Yes.
Good job. Thank you so much for sharing your story. I really, really, really am proud of you for that and all that you've accomplished with coaching.
Thank you. I couldn't have done it without you.
Oh, you're so sweet. Let's tell them bye. Of course. Bye, y'all.